essentially, once we get a kind of a handle on our costs, we'll share those with the city attorney, who will draft up, take the typical lease and build those costs into a lease, in theory to be, you know, it'll probably be, I would guess, most of these are always triple net, so the owner is not going to be responsible for any ongoing repairs during the leasing period for the insurance or for the taxes owed on the property. And so that would be the probably the lease payment that I think is what I heard taxes, but I think it's important that we do all three of those. And then at that point, it'll be a matter of trying to discover some type of an amortization schedule. I believe we were looking at a 5-year window. So, and you know, this could move and accelerate, but essentially I think the owner of the business is asking for a period of 5 years in which to build the jobs up, and then on some day in 5 years from that point, you take a head count, bing, 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 there's that many. We'll have to discover what a value of a job is, I mean in terms of what you want to reward, and you have some helpful instruction from the state of Minnesota if you deem that helpful. Most of their programs would run, I think, $10,000 to $20,000 range per job. So if he had 50 jobs at $20,000, I think that's $1 million, or somewhere close to that number, isn't it? So that's what, from his perspective, what he may be wishing to ask, that this much then will be forgiven on the building, and I'll buy it, and if the building cost exactly $1 million to build, I don't think he'd owe you anything, and then he'd own it. Now that's the way, from his side, he's looking at it. You certainly could say, well, every job isn't worth 20, it's worth 10. Or these jobs are worth 10 and these are worth 20. Or, you know, there's all sorts of combinations. That's the kind of stuff you'll have to start thinking about, but that's, in effect, I think, what we're being asked to consider. And that'd be the incentive part that you would be giving for the business subsidy. So there'd have to be a hearing and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, voting on phase 1, if we approve phase 1, that does not tie us into the other balances, okay?
It only helps us get started so
Right.
that
Yeah.
we can try to meet his schedule, which will be,
Right.
now that it's August 3rd today, will be crunching down on us, and without getting that stuff done, you just can't pick it up
Right.
and start running with it.
True. Okay.
And it appears that all the, you know, I think as he moves through his phase 1 of his development, in terms of the process, and gets to the next phase, that'll be the huge phase where then there's equipment to be built, and that's where I think he's indicated to you he wants to do it one time and not move the machine, so it needs to be built where the machine is going to do its work, and so we're trying to, you know, make all that happen together.
Okay. Discussion.
It's exciting.
Yes.
I think this is a big step.
It's a little more, you know, in some ways, the Job Z credits that we've given, you know,
Sure.
we don't see them as easily categorized because they happen as you sort of go. This is going to be more of a, you know, there's going to be a day when all that just comes together, and so if there's only 10 people working, that's going to be probably in the agreement that then it'd only be $200,000 forgiveness, so then it'd be $800,000 lump sum owed, and then you'd have to figure out how to pay that out on the back end.
Sure. Do we have a motion?
I definitely think we need to, you know, move this on.
Okay. You're moving?
Yeah, I request that we move it on at least for the first phase and get the architectural and design phase done, and ask the
Isn't that
council to
already-
approve.
How much was, excuse me,
Yeah.
the architect that, Dan, the one that was at this meeting sometime back?
Same guy.
Yeah,
Same guy? So they've done the conceptual,
correct, and that's what we had up last
Yeah.
meeting.
okay, and part of this first phase dollars is already then paid for, or what?
No, we haven't paid him anything. He did that on courtesy of a request to come and help.
we're rehiring him to do the same thing over, I didn't want to see us do that.
No, this will be more detailed and,
Yeah.
and what that was. That's just basic design to make sure that what we're doing would fit on that lot and let us grow.
And just, well, I'll let you vote on the motion first.
Well, I mean, this is kind of give you a test here, it's building function, you can actually get bids based on what he's gonna do. What was presented before was just simply a schematic, he just drew up, this is what it's gonna look like, now we're moving to the phase where you're gonna be able to take what he does and get bids off of this and know that this building will
We're
fit on
gonna
this
come away
property
with
and
a
everything.
price that we can
Yeah,
then say this is the reality.
Yeah,
yeah,
Correct.
that's what we need to know.
Jim, if I may just question the motion in terms of, do you have any comment on phase 2, 3 in terms of, he needs to know, I think he'd like to know whether we're comfortable with this type of an arrangement instead of just saying I'm gonna take 6% across the board on everything. He's obviously, in my opinion, he's given us an attractive phase 1.
right.
Because he's gonna have all of that and more, and his only way to recoup it is to make sure at some point he has a project, because that's where he'll have dollars there, as well as if there's phases 2 and 3, and he does a good job. I mean, he's looking at it from a business perspective of trying to help, at our request, trying to keep our costs down initially.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wouldn't want to deceive him and say, yeah, you got the job, and then we fire him.
I can't
unless it-
comment to the, percentage, I mean, if you just take this fee proposal and run it through, you got about $133,000 in fees, plus all the reimbursable, plus the work provided by the owner there. On a 1.3 is what, 133, would that be, 10%? No, it would be less, it would be percent overall, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's fair.
reasonable, I don't, but I'm not,
Well, what I'd like to do is to get a contract with him that limits so that these numbers don't change. I guess I don't want him to go spiking on me after we get dependent on, okay, we got phase 1 and he's got the work, and then all of a sudden, oh, by the way, did I tell you I raised that one to 6.5? I think these are fair. I think they bring us where we need to be. And then we still have a discussion, about phase 4. That may not end up being.
right.
I know Dan would like to see it and others, but this will be dollars and cents discussion.